Good morning, everybody. It's BDF44. I saw some stuff on Facebook as usual that kind of grinds my gears right now. One of many incidences where people have just been separated from their families in the name of solving the immigration crisis. Now, I don't understand the immigration crisis. I haven't read up on it. I'm just ignorant. So I do not know exactly why this is considered necessary by a great percentage of people in this country. I hear what I've heard, which is that if something doesn't be done, we'll be overrun by people who are not from this country, and those are concerns for them for some reason. I'm from Los Angeles. I live in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, so the idea of an invasion does not scare me. In fact, I'm pretty damn comfortable. I've lived amongst Hispanic people all my life. There is no uncomfort for my personal psyche when I'm in the presence of others, people who are not black. That's just not how I roll. And I understand that to be a luxury that I've been afforded based on where I'm from. So I don't assume that everyone else is going to see the world I do or to understand comfort in the presence of Hispanic people like I may. They just may not. There are people in the city who aren't. It just is what it is. But when you start talking about separating people from their families and sending some people back and not others, or saying that, well, this kid was born here even though they're only 5, so they may stay because they're legal under the paperwork that we say is okay, but not their parents who needs them. Like, we sit up here and we talk about mental health and how important it is to focus on mental health, particularly when someone white shoots up a damn mall or school or something. Then it's about mental health, and we're going to focus on our mental health. When we're talking about the immigration crisis and the trauma and the poor treatment and the devastation that these circumstances provide, putting people in detention camps, children in detention camps. You want to talk about mental health? Talk about the mental health of those kids. You want to talk about mental health? Talk about the mental health of the individuals who are involved in these situations. Don't care about that. Why? Because they're not white. Because they're not American. Because it doesn't affect you when you lay your head down tonight. I won't. If I'm going to do anything in this world besides satisfy whatever needs to be done for myself and my family, if I'm going to do anything meaningful, it's going to be to take moments like this to speak up on stuff that I just can't agree with in any way. When we look back on some of the things that we've made, some of the mistakes that we made in the past as a country, and we think about just everything, how you treated the Native Americans, how you treated African Americans, how you treated Japanese Americans, how you treated Chinese Americans, how you treated Hispanic Americans. I mean, all over the decades and years, even centuries, going back 500 years almost, you can see where this country has been built upon the suffering of a lot of people. I would say everyone, but I'll leave it at a lot. And as someone who's from this country, who has had family members and who has family members fighting for this country, who've had ancestors, my grandfather fought, both of my grandfathers fought for this country. My father fought for this country. My brother is fighting for this country. They didn't fight so that children could be traumatized and separated from their families. And if they did, I'm not with them. And I tell them to their faces that that's not something I agree with. But they didn't. They didn't fight for that. Maybe some soldiers fight for that because they believe in those type of things, but not all of them do. So, just to tie in this to something else, if I decide to take a stance against something in this country I don't believe, that's not being disrespectful to my grandfathers, to my brother. So I'm not gonna dive further into that. I'll just leave it at that, and I think you all know what I'm talking about. Me taking a stance against things that aren't right is not me not loving my country. It's me showing an example of how I want my country to be, starting with myself. Put American flag near me, and then proceed to watch me treat others better than y'all have. Because that's the new America. It's about treating people better, if you ask me. We need to learn from our mistakes, answer for our mistakes, apologize for our mistakes, and then start planting seeds of light as opposed to seeds of darkness, like what I just seen in regards to the situation I mentioned. Children in Mississippi waiting for their parents to come to pick them up, rather, from their school or daycare center or what have you, whatever that place was that I just saw the footage of. Children crying, grown-ups who have to console these children and tell these children that their parents have been deported overnight, hell, in the daytime, and that they won't be getting picked up. And because of it, these kids had to sleep overnight in the school gym. Mental health, trauma. Yeah, that's what you did to these children. You traumatized them by doing this. You took their parents from them. And I know how that feels in terms of having yourself separated from your parents and what that can do in a lasting mindset for you. It can traumatize a child in a great way. And not only did you take their parents from them, but you told them that their parents ain't coming back. At least my mother came back to get me after I went through that process. These kids' parents aren't coming back. Did they pass away? No. You just sent them away. Why? Well, that's the question. That's the question. Self-preservation, maybe? Racism, maybe? Just evil in your heart, possibly. I can't think of why anybody would do that to a child. Why someone would break up a family. But then again, when I look in history, I saw that they used to break up our families too. As black people, they used to separate us. Native Americans, separate us. And sell you away for a little bit of nothing. You want people to believe that you're not who your ancestors were, but you're doing the same things that your ancestors did. You're showing us that you are those same people. You're showing us that you're capable of doing those same things if the laws would just move a little bit so you can have your way. I'd be in chains, the next man would be in chains, and you would be sitting there smoking a cigar, enjoying how America is great again. I'm sorry, ain't nothing great about it. What you're actually doing is making it so that the world is watching you and seeing you as an evil antagonist bully. And the people you are doing this to are going to grow up to hate you and want to destroy your country from the inside out. That's what's going to actually happen. These same people that you are traumatizing, they're going to grow up, get educated, and they're going to do what they need to do to get back at y'all. Maybe even join some of your enemies to assure that you're overtaken. That's what's going to happen. Our country is too strong. And I remember hearing this conversation as a child. I'm reiterating something that I've been told, and I'm seeing it come to pass. This country, America, our army, our resources, everything about us is too damn strong for our enemies from the outside to destroy us. The way this country can be destroyed and probably will be destroyed is from the inside out. From within, its own citizens will turn on you. And this is how that happens. By telling citizens, people who were born here, who you're not legally able to kick out, that their families and the people that they love are not welcome, and traumatizing them as children, making it so that they hate this country growing up. That's how that happens. That's how you're going to fall. It's going to be because of shit like this. So let it be on record. BDF has told you. Unless we change our ways right away, fix these problems, apologize for what you've done, pay these people, find a better solution to your immigration quote-unquote crisis, aka your fear of people that don't look like you. Do something other than what you're doing, and you might be able to salvage what you have, America. Because if you don't, you're going to find that a lot of people who you've done wrong today are going to grow up. They're going to use the resources that they have, social media provides, that have never been there before. They're going to use those resources. They're going to use the knowledge that they can get, and they're going to find a way to destroy you. They're going to find a way to get back what they've earned. They're going to find a way. It's going to happen. And it's going to be because you deserved it. This isn't anti-American rhetoric for those of y'all who want to twist my words around. I'm telling you that the seeds that you're planting because of the mistreatment of humans is going to directly affect your own undoing. That's what I'm warning you. You can't treat people wrong for 500 years and think that it's not going to fall apart on you eventually. I believe it's because of the people that have been done wrong that still live here and love this country. That's why it hasn't imploded. It's because of the people out here with goodwill and who desire to still succeed here is why this thing hasn't fallen apart. The blood of the people you've wronged is the karma that you needed to keep this thing from falling apart, is what I'm telling you. And without their support, you just left here with your own devices and your own way of thinking. If it's just you here, you can't move. You don't have what you need to keep your country going. You need the people that you're isolating, that you're traumatizing, that you're mistreating in order to keep your country going. But you're too bullheaded, arrogant, stupid. It's sheer stupidity to continue to make these same mistakes over and over again. Insanity even. For you to move out of your own way and stop this from taking place. There's another way. It has to be. For whatever this issue is in immigration, whatever your issue is, you need to find another way, America. That's all I got to say. BDF.